The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
I'm Lisa Law. I've traveled the world to seek spiritual knowledge, to visit sacred places, and to find inner peace. Where we go and what we do on our journey is important. So are the people we meet along the way, the ones who support us, inspire us, and help us be more positive. I want you to meet these special people. So welcome to the sharing room. It's my pleasure to welcome Jay Gupta, registered pharmacist and yoga therapist. Jay is an innovator in the healthcare industry, combining his wisdom of holistic therapies with modern medicine. He's the co-founder of YogaCaps and RxRelax. It's a great pleasure to have Jay here today. Welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
For those people who haven't experienced yoga, your passion is really yoga and bringing a holistic approach to wellness to people. Could you tell people who haven't experienced yoga what they can expect and what yoga is really all about?
Well, I think yoga is about human beings. Yoga is about all of us as humans. It's an enormous collection of practices and knowledge which helps at every level of our being. So whether we are doing physical exercise part of yoga, you're working with the mind, we are working with the breath, the relaxation response, mindfulness, whatever you call it, it doesn't matter. So yoga includes all of that. Personally, for me, being a drug dealer, being a pharmacist, I focus on just the pharmaceutical, the medicinal, the healthcare piece of yoga.
Mm-hmm. And you bring yoga into some populations of people that you wouldn't expect to be able to do yoga. Mm-hmm. Would you like to tell people about that?
Well, that has been our passion, me and my wife Terry, she's a social worker, so that has been our passion to create a business which has a double bottom line. The one bottom line everybody knows is the money, mm-hmm. but more important than that is what can we do for the community? And I learned yoga back home more than 30 years back, and when I saw what's happening in America in the modern time, it's more of an exercise. Mm-hmm. And it has become somewhat complicated exercise, which a lot of people cannot do. So about 9 years back, we started working with a group of friends who had experience of cancer. And over a period of time, now we serve many hospitals in southern New Hampshire. And it's probably the largest program in whole New England area of our kind, where we are serving the patients with experience of cancer, mm-hmm. including the caregivers, into the healthcare system.
And that's your program, YogaCaps?
That's right. We actually call it Thriving with Yoga.
Thriving, okay.
It's one of the programs YogaCaps runs.
Okay, and it's all volunteer, I understand.
Right, it's a 501c non-profit, and it's all run by volunteers.
So what kind of changes do you see in, say, someone who's going through cancer right now? What are some of the benefits that yoga brings to them?
That has been the most exciting journey for us. First of all, I would say thank you to all those people who came to our classes. There have been thousands of friends we have made in last 9 years. We have learned a lot of things from people, particularly the resilience of the human spirit, how people, don't give up and they keep doing what they need to do. The benefit-wise, what we saw kind of changed my perspective about yoga a lot. People coming off the medicines. So as a pharmacist, my training has been, and all the healthcare professionals out there watching the show know that our training is all about managing people and treating the health conditions. Mm-hmm. And when I started to see people coming off the medicine as a pharmacist, that made me really happy. Mm-hmm. And
did you see some other residual benefits besides just coming off the medicine for people?
Absolutely. Of course, the peace and feeling good about themselves, mm-hmm. Even in a tough time of life with a diagnosis of cancer, when people have physically, mentally, financially, socially, mm-hmm. emotionally, everything kind of starts to fall apart. They're able to bring a new perspective in life with a peace and calm. Yeah. That I think is very powerful.
I think that's maybe one of the things people don't realize who don't practice yoga. It just, for me, I take your your wife Terry's class at the Y when I can. And yes, there are physical benefits, but I come away feeling so peaceful. And for me, it helps me understand where I'm holding the tensions in my body and be able to let that go.
Right.
And then she also includes some meditation, which is really peaceful and nice too.
Beautiful.
So yeah, it's been nice. So you also go into the VA center and some mental health facilities. Would you like to talk about that too?
Well, mental health center, I worked with National Mental Health Center for about 3 years. Very exciting times in the sense that people there really need yoga. And the benefits were instantaneous. So when it comes to working with the mind, our modern science kind of is clueless even today. So we manage some of the conditions with the medicine, we suppress or stimulate here and there. But how do we can go to the core root of the problem, and how do we manage that or maybe reverse it?
Yeah.
So we saw one woman from the very first class we did at National Mental Health Center, she stopped hearing voices.
Wow.
And we are grateful to National Mental Health Center. They even gave us an award for doing that service we did for them, for Community Advocacy Award.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
And then you also work in the VA?
Yeah, the VA hospital I started about 2 years back. We work with a CLC unit. It's a community living center. So these folks, our friends are, all of them are on wheelchair. It's like a kind of a nursing home come hospice unit. So physically and mentally they have a lot of challenges, and what I understand is most of the exercise programs did not work for them. So I was able to create a 1-hour yoga exercise program for them in which we do some laughter yoga, we do some meditation, we do a lot of breathing exercises and some physical movement. So whatever people can do, so we created that program for them.
That's great. So when someone's in a wheelchair, are you doing a lot of things just in their mind? Are they doing the yoga in their mind, or are they able to move and do some things too? Because I know Terry adapts if a person's in pain. She says you can just do the yoga in your mind and picture yourself doing it, and you still have the benefit from it, which is really interesting.
It works for some people. In some population it will work, but some people cannot just imagine that they're doing it. My take on yoga is even if you can just move a little bit of any body part. So the kind of yoga I teach, I learned in India, is very different from what we are practicing in America right now. So I go from tip to toe with a lot of breathing, working with every muscle in the body and every joint. So everybody, even if they have spinal cord injuries or they might have traumatic brain injuries, they might be on wheelchair for any other reason, they can also move some muscles and some joints in the body. And we can add more breathing into it. The mindfulness and the relaxation response automatically kicks in. And if it doesn't kick in, we have practices to enhance that.
Do you think the relaxation is a big part of what helps people move forward in their wellness journey?
Absolutely, Lisa.
Yeah.
If you look at CDC data, most of the healthcare conditions we have, I don't remember exact numbers, and they don't have really recent numbers, but a couple of years back, the data said more than 75% of the healthcare dollars in America we spend on chronic disease conditions. And if you go to the root cause of those chronic conditions, that's stress. And we have lost the art of relaxing. We have just created this society in which we are just running.
When we get bombarded all the time with
Right.
information and
Exactly.
schedules and activities and work.
Right.
So.
It doesn't stop. So we have lost that art, which is very, very critical. I work with insomnia a lot because when I heard that 33% population or more than that, people don't have an optimum sleep. And then I started to observe more, started to study more, and now I'm teaching actually CE and CME programs for the doctors and nurses. So you see, like, the sleep is really not being optimized for people. At 10 o'clock in the night, people should be, regular human beings should be feeling sleepy.
Right.
They wake up in the morning, they should be saying, okay, I'm ready to go. What is happening to people? At 10 o'clock, they're wide awake.
So they
And in the
take a pill.
Right. And in the morning, they wake up and they're like zombies. They rush
Right.
towards their Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks. So it's a very challenging time for human beings. where we don't even know how to relax ourselves.
So you're finding that for insomnia, the yoga is really helping?
Yoga is helping, and we are doing actually a clinical trial now, because if I'm talking to my colleagues who are doctors and nurses and pharmacists, we want to see the evidence.
Right.
It's not that I'm saying that or somebody else says that. So Mass College of Pharmacy actually is, we are fortunate to work with them, and we have professors and students who are excited. So we are doing this pilot study, and we picked up the toughest population which has not been really studied. And that population is people in active treatment of cancer.
Okay.
So people who are going through treatment of cancer, almost everybody has huge amount of stress, and their sleep is not really optimal.
Yeah.
The fatigue level is high. So we're doing this clinical trial to see what are the results. So when I'm doing as a scientist, I'm not even saying it's working or not working. I'm letting, they are doing all the data collection, and once we have enough data, and we'll publish that and see whether it works or not.
Are you studying people who are in a hospital situation or at home and going into the hospital for treatments?
Well, if you look at the modern treatment, mostly it is outpatient. We don't really admit people.
So it's mostly outpatient.
It's all outpatient.
Okay. I work with at one of the hospitals doing Reiki, and one of the places we offer Reiki is in the infusion center.
Oh, beautiful.
And so, yeah, it's beautiful.
Is it in Dartmouth, Hitchcock, Nashua?
Southern.
Southern Hampshire.
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Great.
Yeah. So what are your initial results? What are you finding?
Well, the initial results are people are excited. We had...
How many people have you studied so far?
Well, we had only 5 people in the first cohort. The second group is starting actually this Thursday. So if any of the listeners or viewers of the show know somebody who has experience of cancer, first of all, we have absolutely free classes for people with cancer or past experience of cancer, and also the caregivers.
That's huge.
Okay. And it's in 5 hospitals right now, Monday through Friday. They're all at different times, so people don't have excuses that I work or I don't work, etc. They've been going on for almost 8 years, 9 years now. So we have very good experiences, all run by volunteers. We are partnered with all these hospitals. We are very grateful to them that they give us this opportunity to serve.
So they're going in and they're doing yoga once a week, or just once a week?
And if people want to do more than once a week, they're welcome, depending on if we have space in the class. Some classes tend to be very full.
Yep.
So if they're
Is
not,
it all different kinds of cancer patients?
yes.
Okay.
Mostly it makes, the most classes are with people with prostate cancer and breast cancer. But we have seen almost all varieties of cancer, people with experience of those cancers.
You also offer yoga to the elderly population too, right?
So that has been going on for 6 or 7 years in the Merrimack Senior Center. So we have some lovely group of 20, 30 people who show up every Friday morning, and we have fun.
So for a person who's never experienced yoga, what would they expect in their first class?
Well, they can just come and be themselves. If they can experience that, that'll be huge. Okay. But as I said, we go from tip to toe, we move every part of the body. It's very healing and very rejuvenating. So I call it like these things we think they're oxymorons, rejuvenation and relaxation. But they come together when we do yoga. And it's very scientific.
Because you're moving not only the body, but you're moving the spirit and the person's thoughts and everything else that connects with everything, is what I've found. You connect with what your thoughts are that are not necessarily working with you in a healthy way too.
Right.
Which
Well, mind is
it
very
makes you
complex.
aware.
Mind is
Yeah.
very complex, and there are different ways to tame the mind or work with the mind, depending who the person is.
So do you find a lot of people who start with yoga develop a meditation practice as well? Or do
We
you
haven't
feel
really
they go
tracked.
hand in hand?
They go together. And meditation, again, in the modern society, we use them as 2 different words, but meditation is just one of the practices in yoga. So if you look at mindfulness, relaxation response, breathing exercises, or just physical exercises, as I said, yoga is a very comprehensive body of knowledge. These are all just fragments of yoga.
We hear so much about mindfulness. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
But mindfulness is another way of practicing yoga. People who cannot do aggressive physical exercises they might start with mindfulness. And the origin of mindfulness is yoga as well.
It's from yoga.
There are a lot of people in the modern times, they just cannot close their eyes and sit and meditate. So for them, mindfulness is either not recommended or it might be even contraindicated. It can be even harmful for some people. So I start with the physical body, and if it is a medicine, as I said, yoga is a powerful medicine, it has to be safe. So what we have done with all our work, working with underserved population with yoga, is make yoga as a medicine very safe. So anybody and everybody can enjoy it.
So you're teaching your teachers also. Would you like to talk a little bit about your training and how you help your volunteers help other people?
Well, the volunteers, we are very grateful, because without them we cannot run this all-volunteer nonprofit called YogaCaps. And the demand is increasing. Almost all the hospitals, they want our training program there. Not the training program, so the YogaCaps program, the Thriving with Yoga program. It's very healing. The responses are amazing. People love that. So we are now training the healthcare professionals and caregivers. So we have a training going on at Elliott Hospital right now, and we just partnered with Catholic Medical Center. So we'll be offering a training program for the staff of Catholic Medical Center in Manchester, New Hampshire, mostly focusing on healthcare professionals who work in the healthcare systems, because we are all very stressed out people as healthcare professionals. So we need it, but we can also pass on to our patients as well. So it will spread. I am hoping it will spread faster by taking care of the healthcare professionals themselves. But we are also including the caregivers, because their stress level is very high, and caregivers don't focus on themselves.
Right, they're
So
focused on the patient.
They're so focused on the patient or the person they are caring for. So I think if I take good care of the caregiver, if I take good care of the doctors and nurses and pharmacists, they will be able to help their people around them much better.
Well, when you're in a health crisis, there's so much fear of the unknown, I think, and then your body is there's a stress. You're not understanding what's happening always, and you're not knowing what's going to happen next. And I know I was my grandmother's caretaker, and so you feel in a lot of ways your life is on hold during the crisis. And so if you can find ways to help people just live in the moment and be in a peaceful place, even though there's a lot of stress happening out here, it has really nice benefits. I think that being her caretaker in large part was what motivated my spiritual journey, because everything went off balance, and I needed a way to get myself back in balance. So all these practices like meditation and yoga really helped me. And so,
Great.
yeah.
Well, healthcare industry is also now opening up. We don't call them complementary and alternative practices. We call it integrative medicine. So when we are integrating all the holistic practices together now into mainstream healthcare, that I think is going to save a lot of money to the overall healthcare system and also for our country.
It's a slow community to change, though, isn't it?
Well, it's getting faster though. Like I remember 8 or 9 years back when we started the oncology exercise program, nobody was talking about oncology exercise. Very few people. And there was a lot of resistance to it in the beginning. We used to actually tell people, oh, you're going through chemotherapy, you're very tired, take it easy, just relax. And now we know the studies are proving that if you're doing exercise, you're staying active during the treatment of cancer, it's good for you. And there's clinical studies happening which are proving that yoga actually helps in lowering the cortisol level so low that it enhances the treatment of cancer. So it's a very win-win situation. So it's moving very fast now as we are doing more clinical research, creating more evidence. So healthcare professionals are more open as well.
When will the results of your study be done? Do you have a plan for that?
Well, we are still enrolling more people. So it's an open study.
Yep.
And as we get enough data, because
it'll
I
be
can
a
give you the
couple
case
years,
studies
maybe?
now. If I could tell you like one person with 20 years of insomnia who was taking 2 medications a day for almost 20 years, now he's off of 1.5 medicine. He's taking only half a dose of only one medicine. And his wife insomnia is also relieved. So if I tell you that, that is case studies. We have tons of case studies. which is very exciting. But if I'm communicating with a healthcare professional, we are kind of very brainwashed that we want to see evidence in a larger population, which I am all for it. So this is what we are creating, and there's a lot of studies happening out there. And this is what I offer in this yoga training also. So keeping what is the mechanism of action, if it is a medicine, how does it work, what are the contraindications, what are the side effects of the practices. So sharing all that knowledge, all that information, and giving them an experience.
Are there many side effects?
Not a lot of bad side effects. There are adverse events though. It can be very dangerous. The way we are practicing yoga in some places can be very harmful.
So the insomnia, do you teach classes on overcoming insomnia?
Well, again, as I said, we are focusing on healthcare professionals. So I do a CE program for nurses. I do CME program for doctors. We've done it for pharmacists as well. We have a 2 CD set called RxRelax.
You can buy that on your website.
Right, RxRelax for insomnia. So people can just learn what insomnia is, what causes insomnia, what are the options over the counter, herbal. Some people think herbal means great.
Yeah.
No side effects. Not true. So what are the medicines, what is good about the over-the-counter medicines, what is good about the pharmaceutical products, what is not so good about them, in what situation I would recommend them, and in what situation I would say run away from them. And then we have a 45 minutes of deep relaxation, and that CD is actually part of our study. And
okay.
it's just very satisfying to see how many people have improved their own life by using these simple, inexpensive tools, which I think is very empowering for people around us.
So you call YogaCaps because it's the yoga capsule. It goes back to your pharmaceutical training.
Exactly.
I think that's cute.
Yeah, since my childhood I've seen this, and going to the pharmacy school, I had already been trained in yoga. So I always try to integrate them together. That is not only about medicine, or it's not about yoga either. It's about people. So when somebody is sick, when I'm sick, I want to be taken care of. But if I can do it myself, I feel more empowered, and the healing aspect of it is long lasting. And I had more side effects which are probably more beneficial than harmful.
Well, it's nice early on you said that yoga is a community. And it sounds like you're building a community with the people who are going through these health crises too, which is nice. Provide a support system for them.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just very satisfying for me personally, and I can talk on behalf of my wife Terry and our volunteers who work with us. It's very satisfying work to be part of the community and going a little bit out of our way to serve the community.
Well, and you do a very special program once a year, Yoga for Peace. And does that mean inner peace, or is it creating peace out here too? I was always,
Both.
yeah.
I cannot be really peaceful if all my neighbors are suffering. Okay, if there's chaos around me, I can't probably be very peaceful, but then I have to be out and about helping them as well. And if they are peaceful, their peace will bring peace to me. So it's very mutual. We are very connected people. We don't look at that way, or we forget to look at that way.
Yeah, we all get our blinders on and get busy, and yeah, the intention's there. I think a lot of to be part of a community, but we get busy.
Right. Everybody wants to help other people, and people are just very beautiful. But as you said, we get lost.
Yeah.
We forget.
Well, that's why I wanted to do this show, is to introduce people who are building a sense of community around them and introduce people to new ideas and new ways to help themselves feel more peaceful and feel better in their lives.
I'm very happy that you took this initiative, took this step, and I wish you all the luck.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If people want to learn more about YogaCaps or RxRelax, you have a website?
Yes, we have 2 websites. YogaCaps is our 501c3 nonprofit. So it's yogacaps.org, YogaCaps.org. And we have RxRelax.com, where my initiative is to bring holistic practices, mostly coming from yoga, into the mainstream healthcare. So we have a training program, we have RxRelax for insomnia, we have another CD we just launched last month called relaxation capsules.
And people can purchase them on the website.
People can just purchase them online. They can download them online. So it's very easy with technology to use those tools. But taking even 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes for yourself and learning how to relax yourself, I think that will pay you back really big time. So I really encourage people to optimize their relaxation and sleep.
Well, and if anyone's interested in participating in your study, they can email you also through the website. We can put your email address up at the end of the show.
Absolutely.
And then Terry teaches a class on Tuesdays at 9:15 at the Merrimack Y, which is a really beautiful class. Do you teach any regular classes in the community besides the ones we've talked about in the hospitals? And
well, personally, I'm focusing more on the healthcare community, but sometimes I teach at the Merrimack YMCA as well. I'm on board with Merrimack and Nashua Y, so please support your YMCA as well. They're a beautiful place, lovely people, and any nonprofit who is serving, bringing health to the community, I'm all about that.
Any last minute advice or things you'd like to tell the audience?
Take good care of yourself. Do whatever you can. If you love crocheting, you love sleeping, you love to relax yourself, whatever is relaxing for you. But take some more classes for yourself. Learn how to relax. It's not really easy. We are not trained in the modern society how to relax. We have been just told so many things how to live our life. And if you sit in front of media, we are just bombarded with so much data into the brain.
Stimulating,
from the eyes and ears, so much data going in.
Yeah.
What happens to my brain?
Right.
What happens to the mind? We don't even understand it, and we abuse it. So strongly I would recommend just taking good care of yourself, and my life is all about community right now. So if you have any questions, please email me.
Thank you.
I would love to get back to anybody who is listening to the show and want to be in touch.
Well, thank you, Jay. It was an honor and a privilege to have you here, and good luck with your study, and I wish you continued success with YogaCaps and everything you're doing.
Thank you, Lisa.
So, thank
really
you for coming.
It. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. We'll put Jay's contact information at the end of the show, and please join us again. Thank you.
Hi, welcome. I'm Penny Chauvette. This is my husband Raymond, and we have been coming to Thriving for Yoga with Terry and Jay as our instructors since about March of this year. I was diagnosed with breast cancer just the day before Thanksgiving. I had gone in for a mammogram, and then I had surgery, 2 surgeries in the month of January. When I recovered, my surgeon, Dr. Patel, encouraged me to attend yoga. I wasn't sure it was going to help, but I'm going to tell you that I am a believer now. Not only does it help you physically, it helps you mentally. And so often, programs are there to help you benefit physically. There are not a lot of programs out there to help you mentally, and this does both.
Hi, my name is Michelle Blanchette. I've been participating in the Thriving with Yoga for about 1.5 years. And it's provided by YogaCaps, and it is just tremendous. I am a 1.5 year survivor of breast cancer, and being involved in the program has just helped me to get flexibility back. Just the people that I've met has been wonderful. The breathing really has helped me through all my treatments when I was going through them. And to this day, it still helps me when anything stressful comes up in my life. I revert back to the breathing that I learned. It's just been wonderful all around. And I try to share it with people that I work with now. And some of these people love it too. So it's been a wonderful experience. Thank you.
Well, since I started yoga, I found such an improvement in my walking and getting up and down out of the chair, and I can bend down now, which I couldn't do before. So it's been a great, great help for me since I started this, and I'm improving more and more every day. Before, I couldn't get out of the chair. Now I can raise myself right up out of the chair.